Hello, everybody. It is Saturday, the 27th of September. I want to talk one more time about Yaldabaoth, about the demiurge, about the great delusion that we're in, and I want to talk about prime Earth, trying to find our way back to the truth of what it is we are and what it is we're in. And really, at the moment, as I said, we are in the great delusion, and we're calling evil good and good evil. And we have the whole thing upside down. People read texts like the Gnostic texts, but they're not seeing what those texts actually say. Because there is a falsehood that has been perpetuated all the time, and they are just repeating that falsehood without diving deeper into the text to see what it actually says, to see the truth. Yeah? They say, well we're finding all these old, this old knowledge, but they're just regurgitating it, like parrots, repeating the words, and not looking, first of all, into the meaning, and secondly, judging it inside of themselves. The judgment of good and bad, of right and wrong. There's no discernment. There's just, as I said, a repetition of words. So if we go to the story of Yaldabaoth and of Sophia, then first of all, to see what actually happened there, you must see what Sophia is. Sophia is not a goddess. Yeah, and the pleroma is not heaven. She is a part of consciousness. A part of, not all of. There are many eons in the pleroma. She's only one of them. She's wisdom. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about wisdom. We're talking about an abstract that was given a form, so we have something to talk about, to create, to have a discussion using the medium of a story. But she is wisdom, that's what she is. She has no form, she's not a being. She's part of a being, of every being, hopefully. And in the story, Sophia created something out of herself, just herself. No other aeon involved, nothing else involved, just herself. And what came out of her was Yaldabaoth. Which is, if it only came out of herself, it is a part of herself that she ejected. And then denied. She denied it was there. She thought it was ugly. She was afraid what the other eons might say. Again, that is the story. They're not actually beings there. That's just the narrative that makes us understand what is happening here. What came out of her, Yaldabaoth, was emptiness, ignorance, delusion, which are a void that is part of wisdom. It is a working part of wisdom that she rejected. And she hid it away somewhere, away from herself, which is again then a denial of self, a denial of a part of herself. So Yaldabaoth is in the void on his own and becomes delusional. That's what's happening in the story. The void becomes delusional, saying, I am the only one. I am the creator of all. There is nothing else but me. Now again, look at the text very carefully. What the Gnostics are saying is that came out of the emptiness of himself, that Yaldabaoth was actually rather stupid, and that he was deluded. So that means what he is thinking and what he's saying is not actually the truth. That is the delusion of Yaldabaoth, coming out of emptiness of knowledge. It is not the truth. He is not the creator of this earth or of the cosmos. That is his delusion. In fact, anybody that says this is created by one is in the delusion of Yaldabaoth. Because Yaldabaoth then creates archons, angels that will serve him because they believe. They believe what he's saying. I mean, Yaldabaoth himself believes that is what he is. They believe that he is a mighty one, that he is the only one, and that they must serve him. So, that is the delusion that is creating the false earth. The idea that this was created by one. And it doesn't matter what you call it, whether you think it is the biblical God or one of the biblical gods, or, one is true, one is false. Even if you go now and say the Creator as one mighty being is the creator of all, you're still in the delusion of one. That there is one that creates all. You're just pinning a different label on it. If you go now creator as the one, you pinned a different label on it. That's all you've done. You're still in the wrong or in the misconception of what's actually going on here. That is the delusion. That is the falsehood, out of which the false earth is created. But that's only a perception, because the real earth does exist. It is within you. It is all around you. Prime reality is all around you. Again, people go, we must be on a different vibration to see it. No, you don't. You only have to open your eyes. It's not hidden. Nothing is hidden, but it will be revealed. Yeah? So if it's not hidden, why does it need to be revealed? Because people are in a delusion, they can't see it. What created the void in the first place? The void in which the delusion can then rise. Disconnection. I mean, in taking Yaldabaoth out of the pleroma, out of the fullness of all the eons, all the parts that make up the whole. That's what created the void, the separation. And again, it says in the Bible, there is the way to the knowledge of Him, the one that thinks He is all. If he calls you, God of the Bible calls you, he will take you away into the wilderness. He will separate you from your family, your friends, whatever, to create the void. The void is actually lack of connection to the truth. And you've been disconnected first to create the void, the emptiness within you, because you've been taken away from the truth. So that is the way. And then once the void is created through the disconnect from the truth, that void can then be filled. There's an emptiness that needs to be filled. And to be quite honest, not all that disconnect and go into the void find God or Yaldabaoth or any deluded being that thinks it is all. You might find other things to fill the void. People do. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, food. They find all manners of things that can fill or should fill the void. That's where these addictions are coming from. They are an attempt to fill an emptiness. But if you're going on the spiritual path, most of those things are obviously then in the material, trying material things to fill the void, which doesn't work. If you go on the spiritual path, you will find God. You will find the one that will come and fill your void with this glorious light of being all, which is an absolute delusion. The truth is within you. It is all around you. The light shines into the darkness of ignorance. And the darkness does not comprehend it. It does not see it. It believes on the false light of the one that is the creator of all. The truth can be seen in this world. It is right in front of your nose. And if you stop having your focus out there, see, when your focus is all the way out there, you cannot see what's right in front of your nose. Conjurers trick that. This world is created by all that have their being in it. From the soil to the smallest bacteria, to the vegetative, the animal kingdom, and man. Everything that is in this world, and you think of it all as consciousness, different levels of consciousness, different forms of consciousness that come together to create a world. That is the truth you can see all around you. It creates ecosystems where those that can connect to one another will connect to one another. And every ecosystem only functions if every part in that system is functioning correctly. You take a part out of it, you disturb the balance of the ecosystem. And you could quite possibly destroy it. It's the truth of this world. It's a truth within your own body. All the organs, all the cells, every little part of it makes up the whole. Yeah, and the brain cannot say, I am God and I do whatever I like, because doing so will destroy the rest of the body, and then the brain will not survive of its own. There is the depiction of the truth of the Creator. Everywhere. Everything is made up of parts that come together to create a whole. No whole is just one thing. No whole is created by just one thing. That is the truth. And that is the truth of Prime Earth. The connection of all living things, the connection of all consciousness. And they're not all the same. They're all different because that is what Creator does. In Him are all possibilities. In the field are all possibilities. It will create diversity of consciousness, all manners of consciousness. It is in the coming together of the parts that worlds are created, that life is sustained. The Creator is all, everything. It is not the all that is somewhere else. It is all, not one distinct part, but every part. That is the truth. And as I said, you live in the truth. In our connections with each other, and they are not just material. They are spiritual. They are energetic. We are connected on many different levels simultaneously. The web of our connections, that is the truth. In order to be disconnected from the truth, you have to be disconnected from the connections, taken into the wilderness, where the lack of truth, the lack of connections will create the emptiness within you. And then something will come to fill that void. Now, in the spread of Christianity, in spiritual circles, let's start with this. In spiritual circles, that is actually called the path to enlightenment. The disconnect, the entering into the void, is called enlightenment. You are enlightened to a truth. The truth was there before you disconnected. You were in it. You didn't see it. You disconnected from the truth to find a false light. The light of the one. If you truly connect to something that will come and tell you, I am the one. It's a false light. It is the delusion. It is one of the delusional beings that are in the void, disconnected from the truth. They are disconnected from the truth themselves. And they're spreading their delusion as enlightenment. The spread of Christianity, where it actually became compulsory. They spread their delusion, their darkness, their void, their belief on the one. Yeah, and when they came across other people that were what we call nature religions, I'm not saying they were perfect, but they had a far better foundation. They were at least, their foundation was the truth, the connectiveness of all. But, if you don't see the light, if you don't see our enlightenment and follow the light of our one God, we will destroy you. Or we will suppress you until you serve our God in fear, if nothing else. That is the way of spreading the void, of spreading the delusion. And even the New Agers now, again, that say, oh, God is love. He's just one thing. He's love. Again, and point to the ancient text, again, go into Gnosticism. Love is one of the eons. one of many. Again, you are elevating one to become all and then calling it the only truth. Anybody that elevates just one thing to become the only truth, even if it's love, it doesn't matter what you elevate, you're wrong. And you will not see the fullness of the truth because you can only see the one thing that is only a part of everything else. And you can no longer see everything else, the fullness of the truth. You're disconnected from it through the worship of the one. So unless we see the truth, and then we see prime earth, which is here. The Creator is not one. The Creator is not one being. The Creator is not one thing that creates all. The Creator is all. He's everything. And it is only in the coming together of every part that worlds are created by all that have their being in it. There is not one that you must serve in order to receive. Become a functioning part of all, and you will receive. That is the way and the truth and life. That is life. The other is death. Ignorance will lead to death. Lack of knowledge, belief in only one, will lead to death. Even if that one is love, it will still lead to death, because that is not the truth. And as I said, even now, last thing, even now, when people say agnostic texts and they say, well, Yaldabaoth, they knew that Yaldabaoth was the creator of everything. They knew that he was a void, that he was ignorance, that he was deluded, downright stupid. That's what they knew about Yaldabaoth. And the only way he can create your world, or anything like that can create your world, if you are dragged into that void. If you are dragged into that ignorance and you believe it to be the light. And those that are saying, well, an evil demiurge did create this cosmos, they are actually perpetuating his lie. Doesn't matter whether you think it is glorious light truth or whether you go up against it. Even in going up against it, you're saying that is truth. So you're perpetuating that lie as a truth. Before it or against it, it doesn't matter. You're saying it's real. Then you are in the delusion. Anyway, here folks, unless we really come to the knowledge of prime earth, of the prime cosmos, the true knowledge of the Creator, and that is that he is all and everything and not just one thing. And that we are a part of it, and that we should play our part in the whole, like every cell in your body plays its part for the whole. Unless we get out of this idiotic thought of one that creates all, We will never see prime earth if we go down that path. And it doesn't matter whether you call it Yaldabaoth or biblical God or creator. It doesn't matter. They're just different labels for the same wrong thought that we need to get out of. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.